Hello, and welcome to another Ringroo, me Ringroo, and today we are covering the best of 3 finals for the July 15th 1v1 ProtossZocker tournament. And our 2 finalists for today on the left hand side, as the allies, we have Fussel as the 15th Scottish Infantry Division, and on the right hand side, playing as the Axes, as the 3rd Feldjäger, we got from Punki, or otherwise known as Local Festival. The rules are all fast. It goes to a coin toss. Winner of the coin toss can pick whether he wants to pick the faction, or aka Axes or allies, or if he wants to pick the map first. Faction gets picks first, then the map afterwards. And yeah, so it's a best of 3. We're going to see who will be taking it home. Match number 1. It's standard game rules. And it's going to be rather interesting. 15th Scots, a very general division. I think a rather popular 1v1 for the allies, as they can do everything really well in the Avra. It's a lovely unit. While for Local Festival, going as a rather classic 3rd Feldjäger on this map, especially against 15th Scots, gonna be pretty good. Don't have to worry about AB engineers or other crazy close quarters units. So yeah, Feldjägers will be able to win one-on-one infantry engagements. If Fussel does use fire support correctly, does have Avra, he shouldn't have too much of a hard time. It really is going to come down to the town. We've got a mortar already off the bat here from Local Festival. Seems just one Feldjäger, or 2 Feldjäger, or Flammenwerfer unit and a Feldjäger with the panzershreck team, the Abra, which are very good close quarters infantry because they got 4 bloody submachine guns. And of course, the main thing, Fussel only has 2 submachine guns for squad, and they're not as highly vetted. Up top, we've got a few recon, using some more Flammenwerfers and Feldjägers. And the snipers are going to be taking some shots at the rifles, as we got out engagement. Snipers down below using these anti-tank rifle dudes quite a bit, and they're completely covering the open ground. He doesn't have much in terms of anti-tank weaponry. No AT gun, as you can see. So the Avra is just going to have a heck of a time. At the same time, I don't think an AT gun can really do much against an Avra. We do got one of those, an LG gun being brought up. LG 40, I believe. Which isn't the greatest anti-tank weaponry, but it's also good at infantry fire support, which is the main thing. But damn, that AT rifle squad is having a good time. In the middle, Feldjägers moving up. These rifles are pretty vetted, With those Flammenwerfers can get in close, he could probably smoke here and then rush up to try to get the kill, but yeah, I think he's just trying to get him into 100-meter range without having to resort to smoke. There's quite a bit of infantry play all around. Fussel's going to have to definitely take advantage of the tank advantage that he has, bringing up a Honey Stuart, because that could easily dish out quite a bit of damage up top, just as long as he doesn't get too close to the panzershreck teams. The Avra are getting completely smoked here by the mortar. And the thing is, he doesn't want to move the Avra too close or too ballsy because it can get killed. The command carrier does go down. Oh, side shot here from the panzershreck. But fortunately, the Avra does survive and completely knocks him out in one fell swoop. Because it pretty much shoots a giant trash can full of explosives. But the Avra really is Fussel's main advantage in a face. Heck, throughout the entirety of the match, because except for a B1 side shots now, I believe. Just take a look at it real fast. Even then, it's going to have a hard time side shotting an Avra. A very hard time. So as long as he keeps his Avra alive and uses it for infantry support, he should do pretty well. In the middle row, it's not going great. The Feldjägers are moving in quite close. Rifles are getting pinned down. The Churchill V is getting into position, but does it have a good line of sight? Yes, it does, just barely. And it's not exactly an Avra, but it's still enough to dish out quite a bit of damage. Feldjäger is going to be falling back. The main thing for Local Festival is his infantry are quite expensive. So he does not want to be losing them. Because you got to realise, you can get 2 rifle squads for the same price of a Feldjäger. You can get 4.5 Bren squads for the price of a Feldjäger. Yeah, that's a lot of Bren squads. And funnily here, the Avra has managed to flank around the AT rifle team, trying to knock out the command carrier, but it's getting pinned down quite a bit. I don't know if it'll get the kill. As it's just completely pinned down. Feldjäger's pulling back. Yeah, they're gonna have to run through the field, but just enough so they don't get shot. The LG gun, it can't penetrate the Avra frontally. It could barely penetrate at the side. But even then, it's only 800 meter range, and he's what, like 400 meters. So that's just 10 AP at the moment. And then Fussel just making great work of his tank. Top hand side isn't looking too good. The Feldjäger's getting into position and starting to move. I've got a lot of nice cover here for the infantry to take advantage of. You can't exactly bring in the honey steward too close, because if you just take a look, 250 meters is pretty big area, as you can see. It's definitely B phase is going to be quite nice for Fussel. He has such a huge point advantage. 25 points to be exact. Once again, the CEO, Local Festival will be taking the point advantage victory. And oh, did the Avra get killed? Oh, yes it did. Yes it did. The panzershreck team, I believe, knocked it out. And that is quite a devastating blow. Very good shot, because that was pretty much the only thing that could kill the Churchill. So it's lucky he managed to get it into range, and that's definitely going to give Local Festival a breathing room down below. Maisie hasn't used a Panzer L6. That'd be a nice little fire support unit. We've got a Churchill V taken in the Avra's place, which is still a respectable unit. Does have double the range in the Avra. Not as much armor, but there's not really much in terms of anti-tank weaponry to really fight against, so it's not a big deal. He's getting kicked out of town, and losing the town is a bit of a big blow, because it is an easily defendable strong point once you fully capture it, especially with MG34s and Feldjäger squads. And then Local Festival just slowly getting that +1 point advantage. I think attacking up top is helping him out quite a bit. He got an AT gun being brought up, trying to knock out the honey steward. The Feldjägers are getting completely pinned down here. And here's a B1 doing a strafing run on Churchill 5. Here comes a Spitfire. And because he has no fighter support and no AA, it's going to get knocked down. That is such a dangerous thing about using the HS-129, is that if you don't bring it up with fighter support, or at least some sort of AA, you're going to lose it if your opponent brings up run play, especially the Scots, because the Scots get access to Spitfires, which are relatively cheap, only 125 points. And they're a great A-phase unit, because they're also useful for strafing enemy weaponry, such as the LG-18, or 18 bloody 40. IG-18 is a completely different weapon. Well, it does the same thing, but it's still pretty different. Sniper squad pinning down the Bren group. The Feldjäger's pretty much holding out for all of these rifles, and at range the Feldjägers are deadly. It can just put out so much more damage. I mean, each of these MG34s dish out 4 HE if you divide that by 2, while a single Bren gun only dishes out 2. And the fire rate is... well, that's actually not too bad. If you cut that in half, that's 150 compared to 120, which is still a bit of a big gap, but not a huge gap. And the rifles pinned down Feldjäger and Local Festival. Please, just retreat your units. I mean, he could have captured him by now if he just moved up a little bit. And he's moving up the rifle leaders. And Local still barely holding on to the town. He got more rifles being brought up, and Fussel just has to infantry spam. That's what you have to do as 15 Scots. You infantry spam to hell and back, as his infantry are much cheaper. I still think it's going to come down to Fussel using fire support units effectively, because Feldjägers are still a nasty bastard. The honey steward and top did get knocked out. Feldjägers and command units being brought up. And that's going to be a nice amount of ground captured. And because he has northern part of his town as well, he could probably plug this little gap up. Some more infantry in the mid. And we're going to be getting the B phase very shortly. And for Fussel, that's going to be great, because that gives them access to a lot more units. Scots really come into fruition once B hits. Local does get access to a few Stugs now, some better anti-tank weaponry. But still, it's going to be more of the same with Feldjägers. And hopefully some planes, because some planes would be rather good. But the thing is, local has momentum. And this open ground engagement up top with only infantry, Foutshaker's rule supreme. Even on the Kubel machine gun squad helping out. We got a second Avra being brought out, and he is going to be going down into the middle to try and clear out that town. I mean, it's pretty much going to be one shot, one kill per building. And the rifles just don't stand a bloody chance. And these Foutshaker's open ground engagements, they're going to have a good time. And the Churchill getting a little bit too close there. Yati's in Panzerfaust range. Really in Panzerfaust range. I would not bring it up so close. Maybe up here would be a safer option. Foutshaker Pioneers being brought into the town. Another great infantry option. Ditches one machine gun for a stick grenades. Or bundle of stick grenades, I should say. And he's going to be using that to getting close to the rifles. Lobbing a few nades or two. If he can... Yeah, already threw one. Now it's just reloading. And here comes a second. Misses yo. Oh, never mind. Gets the kill in the end. And Lunk Festival just has good... having the town is really his big advantage at the moment. Because that's a decent amount of ground. And in close range fighting... Unless Fussel can spam in a bunch of Assault Pioneers, which are the 15-point guys with a single satchel charge, I don't think he really stands much of a chance of taking that back. And up top, this Fussel's local festivals is doing such a good job moving around these panzershreck teams. Right now it's getting them close. Oh, damn. Spitfire coming in, getting a kill, because that panzershreck team could have killed the Bren group if it gotten closer. I'm thinking Fussel could make something happen down below, because if he could push all the way down below, you can cut off reinforcements into the town, and he just needs to get into, well, open ground territory, but for these Foutsshakers right now, they're kind of in mid-ground territory, right? You don't really have 400-meter engagements, 500-meter engagements usually, which is just perfect, because that's the range of usually the MG34s and the Foutsshakers have. But at longer range engagements where Fussel could take advantage of a tank such as up here or this field over here, he would be having a much better time. We got a Stug 3 command tank, which is definitely in response to the Churchill Mark V. Could easily win that, and of course he's fighting against Brits. There's hardly any anti-tank weaponry to worry about when it comes to infantry. Go down below here, is that going to be a 17-pounder? Oh yep, that's a 17-pounder. And... well, there's no real... he could get a long-range shot over here if he's feeling ballsy, but he's probably going to deploy it a little bit closer. Which is a bit risky because Stun can return fire, but it's 2 stealth veterancy, so if it does get perfect one-shot kill, it should be doing pretty well. Foutshaker's moving in close. We got a Tripost on the rifles, but they're just getting completely pinned down. Sniper squad, they're going to go down too. And in these little apple fields, Foutsshakers are great because it's just enough range for them to be able to see and shoot while being protected. Well, not here, for example, because the Stuart Racket is giving them a bit of a hell. But it gives them good movement capabilities. And Fussel moving into the town, panzershreck. I'm not going to be getting a shot there because it doesn't return fire, which is probably the smartest thing to do. Trying to wait for tank to get a little bit too close and then pop it. But rifles, unless he can get a huge roll of rifles, he's not going to be breaking through. He has managed to clear up top a little bit, moving up a Bren group and Avra. So hopefully he can do something about that. And the Spitfires is fantastic, coming in and out. Constant strafing runs. Off-map artillery over here, 210mm. Definitely going to stump the Churchill. Maybe kill a Tripost on the 17-pounder, which would be a damn good kill. But yeah, not exactly doing that much damage, really. I mean, Tripost, I think, didn't even lose a guy. There's a panzershreck team, I believe. Getting a decent snipe here. And a second snipe, here we go. Just real good use of panzershreck teams all around. Because it's especially important as the third Falltjäger, because you don't have as many high AP weaponry. I think your highest AP weaponry is it's Flak 88, so it's 16. Which is that's actually not too bad for Germany. I mean, you can still kill pretty much every allied tank apart from the Jumbo, but you don't really fight Jumbos every day now, do you? Got a Wolverine down below. The thing is that local festival just has very good defensive positions. As the forests provide decent cover, disallowing Fussel from having long-range tank engagements. That nice open ground that he so desperately wants. The Falltjäger's getting a good flank. We've got some assault pioneers. And that range, they're gonna be they're panzers. 3 Ironfield versus all of that. And the flak gun did get knocked out by the church. And the Pank 40 getting stunned up by a Stuart Wreck. Not good at all. Right in the open. And Fussel, he's just playing on the flanks, which is his best bet. Completely ignoring the town at this point. Because it's just going to be futile. Oh, Pioneers getting a little bit ambushed, yeah. But they are going to be making their way into the forest. I don't have AT weaponry, so going to have a hard time against the Wolverine. No, just completely pinned down. And Fussel now at a +1 point advantage. He has 1,000 points to catch up to you in 17 minutes. That's not impossible. As you see right now at +1, it will continue to be a draw. And using the smoke to great effect to cover the Falltjäger Pioneers. I think Fussel's just really wanting to get his tanks up and rolling. He could push them over here, and that would be the open ground that he desperately needs. As there is no Stug anymore to contest him. We got some artillery, some infantry, and these infantry don't even have anti-tank weaponry, so not much they can do. We got a Stug up top. Oh, we are in C phase, I just want to note. I think Fussel's just grinding him down. And I haven't really seen a single plane here from local festival, which is his main advantage as Luftland, or not as third Falltjäger. I mean, this Messerschmitt 109 will beat the Spitfire in a run because it has veterancy. And then by using that, you can gain air superiority and start bombing all these guys to bits with some Focke-Rohr, some Heinz-Schools. There we go, we got the air superiority here with the Spitfire and a fighter coming in to help out. Knocking out the Falltjägers, yeah. Only 2 guys left alive. Here we go, finally, Messerschmitt 109s. Exactly what he needs. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit too slow fighting that Spitfire. But here we go, we got 2 Spitfires as well. One of them 2-star veterancy. We do have an AA unit, so that's going to be advantage to local festival if you can take advantage or get it close enough. And they're going to be going after the crappy Spitfire first, which knock it out on a stray from 1-2 Messerschmitts. Flying a bit close. Before, oh yeah, they don't have ARE damage on their cannons while the Messerschmitts do. Because if they had ARE damage, he could probably be hitting both of them at the same time. And it's going to be a rather even dogfight because they have the exact same stats when it comes to movement. There we go, the AA unit. Flank 37 going to be helping out. Spitfire does get one of the kills. Second Spitfire, oh boy. And I forgot, 15 Scots gets a card of 2 2-star Spitfires in C phase. We got another Messerschmitt, yo, but the AA is not in range. Gonna be forcing 1 to fall back, gets the kill. And what an interesting dogfight we have here. And another Spitfire, I think both sides are just bringing up into this arrow. I don't think the Messerschmitt's gonna have a good time. He needs to fall back behind his lines, but the AA is nowhere nearby. And he's definitely gonna lose the Messerschmitt. Is he? Oh, damn, he's still alive? Oh, there we go, that's the fallback. Spitfire's right on his tail. And yes, she goes. So, Fussel, well, shoots down 1 2-star and 1 1-star Messerschmitt while losing only a single non-star Spitfire. That's a pretty good trade-off. And that's going to give Fussel the necessary air superiority at the moment, because that's his major threat. And he's just ignoring the town, and he's making fantastic ground because of it. He only has to worry about Stugs, which aren't exactly scary. You've got the Churchill almost killing the artillery piece, yeah, but the Stug responds in kind. And also, you got to realize Wolverine outranged as a Stug, and this is a long, long shot. So Wolverine definitely has advantage there. Got Church Croc as well, which the Stugger will have a hard time penetrating. So it's a very interesting match because both decks play each other well against each other. Fussel has great tank advantage. His tanks, even Churchill's alone, are fantastic into Stugs. Yeah, Local Festival can bring up, but Local Festival does have the infantry support, as you can just see as Fouchshakers, except for up top at the moment as they get pinned down, but throughout the entirety of the match, the Fouchshakers were just getting some insane kills in open ground engagements. But Fussel getting the superiority, having that under his control, is what allowing him to win this match. As in ground game rise, Fussel has a great ground game compared to Local. And just, oh, there we go, that town's almost in circle now. There we go, finally we got a Haters 129B. Spitfire taking some shots, Messerschmitt going to be going after it, 2 Spitfires going to be going on Messerschmitt. The Flak 37 helping out, stunts up one of the Spitch. I think that's just going to be enough AA to keep him at bay. And even just say, just 2 AA units make a huge difference, as you can see. Messerschmitt going in for the kill. And there's no proper AA here from Fussel. But, oh, again, way too close, and he's probably going to lose his Messerschmitt as the Spitfire lines up. Oh! Bit of a crisscross pattern there. And, I don't know. Yeah, Spitfire gets a kill. Damn, losing another 2-star Messerschmitt. That's not good. That is not good as third Fouchshaker. Those 2-star Messerschmitts are vitally important. And as you can just see, all this ground control from Fussel. He's clogging up top now. Moving into Crocodile. And now he's in that open ground territory. He's going to be having a good time. The artillery is still pounding away. And at +2, Fussel will be taking a victory unless Local Festival can do something drastic. But all Local Festival's units are soft, which is the major problem. He has no armor or infantry support vehicles like half-tracks to really help him out. So Churchill Mark V's are the perfect counter to the majority of Fussel's Uber units, his specialty units. And Churchill Crocodile as well, the Flamethrower is bloody deadly. The Fouchshakers finally getting some nicer territory for them, the Apple Orchard, in the close range where the tanks can't shoot them. And B1 going to be getting shot. Yeah, he's going to get shot down. Oh, barely survives. I mean, just seeing the black smoke billowing out the engine, G should not be alive. Count his lucky stars. And town completely captured from Fussel, breaking through after pretty much cutting off the supply line. Now, +2. And once again, Fussel's really running this because of tank advantage. And he's got air superiority, which is the main thing that third Fouchshaker needs to have. So there's not really much else to say that has not already been said. And round 1 is going to be going to Fussel with a minor victory. Getting quite a few kills. And I just want to double check. He did lose the other to the panzershreck team from earlier. Take a little kills and death. The Churchills. The other didn't actually do that much, but Churchill Mark V definitely pulling in their rate. And Wolverine knocking out 2 Stugs, which of course it has a range advantage against a Stug. And even the Spitfire knocking out 1, 2, 3 Fouchshaker units. Good run, O'Brien. Good run. And he just lost, he lost stuff to Fouchshakers, but they're rifles. Who cares? They're cheap as chips. You can buy so many of them, 15 Scotch, that you don't know what to do. So, I'll see you guys for match number 2. And we are back for round number 2. we're on St. Merglis again, but it's a drawless version of the map. So before, we were playing it like this. Now we're playing it like this. That's what happens when you flip a map 90 degrees. And on the left hand side, playing as the Allies, we got local festival as the 6th Airborne Division, which is a very interesting choice, and I'll go into that a little bit later. And as the axis on the right, we have Fussel as the 17th SS Panzer Grenadier Division. Now, 6th Airborne is an interesting deck. I don't find them to be a particularly good deck, per se. As you do get pretty decent infantry, you don't get a lot of them. You can make good work of Tetriarchs early on, but autocannons can kill you. I know, it's a very cardboard deck, and I really do mean that because you have a lot of light armor. The infantry is okay, but I'd much prefer having the spam that 15th Scots get compared to a few elite guys that you get as the airborne powers. Because even though you got 2-star Bren groups with 2 Brens, they're still Bren guns in the end of the day. They're not amazing, but airborne powers are pretty cheap for the price. I believe it's 20 to 25 points, which isn't too bad for a 2-star unit. Lack of AT might hurt a little bit early on. I don't know, we'll just have to see how it goes. 17th Assessor, I think, is a very powerful deck, very good deck, because you've got just a good selection of everything. Of course, you don't get any heavy tanks, but you do get Pack 43s and some decent airplanes to help you out. Oh boy, is this a napalm off the bat? Are we seeing airland battle tactics here? Napalm in the road? Oh god, that's exactly what he's doing. As the 6th Airborne Division, that is your major bonus. You gotta realise, yo, that Mozzie Pathfinder, if I can actually click it, well, I can't click it, it's 170 points, which is almost 40%, like 35% roughly, of your starting income. But it did completely stop out so top, which is going to allow local festival to take the ground. Very cheesy, but that's just rather funny. And he's just going to be defending down below, only a machine gun squad of Vickies of all. And also a thing, like, you get 2-star Vickers, but it's still an OMG-42, it does not have the range. And you have the Panzer Grenadiers fighting AB Paras. And the Panzer Grens do have the machine guns, so they all have long range distance. The Paras need to get within 100 meters. They need to get 100 meters to take advantage of the insert amount of submachine guns that they have. They do have 2-star infantry, it helps out, but as you can see, it's still a rather even fight between both of them. And even the Panzer Grens managed to stun up the Vickers as well. We got some flamethrower guys, which will definitely help out, but you see the Paras is not going to be doing a great job, because it's the thing I don't like about 6th Airborne Division, and this is a personal grudge of mine. It's just, I don't know, I just find the para units not to be all that great. I mean, you get gammon bombs, which are they're okay and nothing amazing. But it's just such a weird loadout, because you're not the super killy. Well, you're pretty super killy at close range, but not super killy, such as Canadian stormtroopers. And you don't have smoke grenades to help you get close, unlike Canadian stormtroopers. I just find them to be a very weird middle ground. But up top, things are going pretty good for local, because of that early napalm run and some good mortar work. He's stunning up the infantry gun, moving some Bren groups along the top hand side. And the sniper's pinned down, but still alive, which is important. And will the sniper get the kill? I really should mean stun. Yes, he goes, and the Bren group. And just because all these units are stunned up, local festivals have been getting some fantastic ground. Some more AP powers down below. And these guys machine gun into a good spot. Preferably in this building here. And same with the flamethrowers, so I'm thinking just keeping them back to hold the flank. Just disarray or ambush anyone that comes into that forest. But in the open ground engagement, Fussel has advantage. He has infantry guns, he has MG42s. Right now I would say he has mortar, but his mortar's getting mortared by enemy mortar, which is what you not want to happen. The MG42 getting pinned down. And if Fussel can just defend the open ground and somehow do a counter-attack, you should be able to push back. Or maybe, you know, try something down below. Do a bit of scouting, because it's a single machine gun squad defending that entire flank. Yeah, we've also got to realise Fussel is pretty focused. On top it is the Stormtroopers, and the Stormtroopers at closer range beat the airborne powers. Yeah, they beat airborne powers, and I'd also beat the airborne Brens. I think the powers would be rather close because they do have the 2-star veterancy. The Stormtroopers do have 1 extra submachine gun, but the powers have 5 the Einfields to help him. Yeah, 5 the Einfields. And then we come Mozzie Pathfinder, Napalm Run 2, Electric Boogaloo. And the Mozzie Pathfinder is a very nice early game unit, as you can see. I mean, didn't exactly, well, it will probably kill the mortar and the napalm. But you can use the Mozzie Pathfinder as a regular old bomber in situations like that. And it's such a great ground attack unit, because you can just strafe constantly. If you fought the 15 Scots in previous game where Spitfires were good at strafing, the Mozzie Pathfinder will blow you away. And it's also fast, so if you do bring up a Messerschmitt, you can escape it if you're fast enough to react and evac. Overall good unit, and for 170 points it's a very reasonable price. Especially against 17th SS, which has a lot of softer units where his infantry guns and machine guns are exposed to napalm effects. And down below, Spar Troopers making some progress, but the infantry guns, as you can see, oh damn, it almost got a machine gun in range, but they got blown up. Yep, and extra MG42 would have helped out a bit. And we just got an infantry grinder mid. Good use of smoke. And we've got the Bren group here. And then even a Bren group, this is hilarious. 3 HE, 2 Brens, 9 HE, 2 MG42s. Which is just, that's just ridiculous. And the rate of fire is much bigger on the MG42s. And the flamethrowers guys getting in close, completely knocking out the Panzershreck. One fell, burn, I'd say. But over the veterancy and the Panzershreck's low in numbers. The main thing, if Local Festival can capture his town, get some machine guns and an AT gun rolling, he should be able to defend it. Also, probably knocking and putting a flamethrower troop in here would help out quite a bit. Preferably, he wants to defend the outskirts of the town. But yes, the Stormtroopers getting in close, and here you can see Stormtroopers versus Paras. And Stormtroopers are, well, taking quite a bit of casualty. You got the mortar there helping, but that is actually a pretty even fight considering. Maybe I'll take it back about AB Paras. So they're not that terrible. There we go, complete middle captured here from Local Festival. And his top hand assault. It's going rather well. Stormtroopers are in advantageous positions though, stunning up and getting a kill on, I think that was an airborne group or whatever. We are going to make him B-phase very shortly. Oh, Tetriarch CS. Moving around trying to knock out Spar troops. And finally the Stunk F8, the Stug Fate. Another Mozzie Pathfinder run, and I think in Fussel maybe invest in some anti-aircraft. Or maybe a plane. Because Mozzie Pathfinder is coming in and out like no one's business. But Local is gaining quite a bit of ground here. I think this early napalm assault and this momentum he managed to gain is what's helping him out quite a bit. Airborne Brens fighting the infantry gun. And also capping a town right now. Helping out as well. Because there's quite a bit of ground. So down below, I'm thinking Fussel could probably make a decent push over here. I mean, he does have the tank. There's a 6-pounder, yo. And that 6-pounder can kill that Stug rather effectively. Is in range. And... oh, misses by quite a bit. Stug returns fire. I think 222 is going to help out. There we go. And the 6-pounder still shooting, but rather inaccurate. Oh, there we go. Gets a kill on the 222, amazingly. Whether it's morale penalty. And I think the Stug is going to get killed. We got a command tank or command APC being brought up. Maybe just 1 or 2 Panzershreck units. Mr. Fussel can really make some progress down below. Up top, we got the Bren gun. Or Bren group. Kind of holding their best. And there's a 232. Tries to poke out. Not doing too great because we've got that 1 bloody mortar unit. And that 1 mortar's just been constantly pounding away. I mean, damn good job, yeah, but some sort of anti-tank weaponry is rare. If he was to clear the stormtroopers and spar troops, would definitely help in holding this open ground engagement. And there we go, Fussel's really making a breakthrough here, and this is what I mean about 6 Airborne being rather cardboard, is everything is extremely light. We got a Cromwell here, which funnily enough is the most heavily armoured tank that they get. 7 armour. 7 armour. Makes sense because they are an airborne deck, but it's still 7 armor, 7 armor. So against 232, it should be able to kill it, but the infantry gun is stunning up quite a bit. I think a multi-pathfinder is going to be returning the favour, yo. And our multi-pathfinder's just been on fire, pun intended. And it's such a good counter because all of Fussel's stuff, the infantry guns and machine guns, are soft. He didn't get a kill yet on the infantry gun, yo, as I think it's just a little bit of a gap. He did manage to move in just in time. Basically, there's a huge amount of ground here, equalising the score for Fussel. Another Stug down below, a Stug 4. And then there's some light skirmishing. Local Festival's still in the lead by quite a bit. 1,000 point advantage compared to Fussel's 0. But as long as he can hold his ground like he intended to do as a 6 Airborne, gain ground early on and hold on to it, he should do rather well. Got a second Cromwell. And nice thing here about the Cromwells, even though they are paper tanks, they only cost 120 points. You get 125 points per tick. You can buy a Cromwell every minute. You only get them in packs of 2, so you can't exactly spam them, but you can buy them in a pinch, which is lovely. Absolutely lovely. You know, if his Stug can get into position, he should do a decent job. Even got an anti-aircraft unit. Is that just a, yeah, it's just a flak vehicle in response to that multi-pathfinder. Command Tetrarch being brought up to help the Croms. And they are engaging. Stug gets kill number 1. And it is a heavily armoured Stug, so the Crom's going to have a hard time penetrating. I just don't think Fussel's really going to bother trying to take up top. He could probably do it. I mean, just have the Stormtroopers getting close. There's Bren groups, 2 SMGs compared to 5. And PPS-8 is, yeah, I forgot the PPS-8 shoots ridiculously fast. Like, it's just stupid fast how it shoots. I mean, I guess why the Russians used it. And we've got Focke-Wulf chasing a Typhoon. Doesn't get the kill, yo. The Focke-Wulf is fast enough to catch up to Typhoons and Mosquito Puff, and Mosquitoes in general. And now he's just flying over enemy territory, which is a little bit cocky. I'd get it behind your lines, bud. And now he's just doing some strafing runs on the AB Paras. As he's pretty much surrounded this town. With 222, got Stormtroopers here. Not a great place to keep Stormtroopers. If you can move them over here and flank up top and get into the town, you'd be in a much better position, bud. Right, yeah, they can probably get sniped by that sniper unit. The main thing though is Fussel has managed to capture all this ground over here. And he's slowly gaining that +1 point advantage. And he can get a victory in 20 minutes if he can just keep on to the +1. And just having his units positioned around the town, stopping any reinforcements. Unless this command tetrarch comes out and pops a 222. You know, the 222 can kill the command tetrarch if it gets into range. And yeah, it's definitely going to be able to get into range to kill the tetrarch. And got Stug 4, and really just a tank is helping out a bunch. I mean, too bad I have no 17 pounder or even Challenger to help knock out the Stug here. Marcy Pathfinder coming in. Only going to be one flak vehicle in, Rich. Ain't going to be a big issue. Actually, just going to be bombing the flak vehicle in. And oh, Focke-Wulf comes in for the strafe. And oh, the Focke-Wulf can chase and kill the Aussie Pathfinder. Can it get on its tail, yo? And it does have a ride turn-in angle. There we go. Will it get the kill? No, it doesn't. Once again, the British planes prove to be too fast. And Oak Fussel, once again, at the +1, managing to subdue its Boge in the middle. And still holding on to the ground that he gained up top. There are finally some Pioneers and SS Stormtroopers will help clear the Ray. As yeah, at this point in the match, Fussel does have infantry advantage because you can only get a maximum of 8 airborne Paras and 8 airborne Brent, which isn't an awful lot of infantry. Well, Fussel can get quite a lot of these SS Stormtroopers and Pioneers and other just regular Panzer Grenadiers to help fight the infantry. You got a second Aussie Pathfinder once again dropping in napalm on the Stug. And with the Challenger here, I mean, Nape is gonna hurt that Stug up. And napalm doesn't block line of sight. So he's gonna be rustling in the command tetrarch. And the Challenger too. And if he can pop out Stug, he's gonna completely clear the bottom hand side. Yeah, he goes. Challenger gets the kill. And I think it's gonna, yeah, it's definitely gonna equalize down below because now Oak Fussel has long range advantage with the 17 pounder. Because Fussel, if he wants to knock out, the Challenger, he needs to either get a Pack 40 or a Pack 43 to effectively engage it at its long range. I think helping Oak Fussel too is this air superiority. As he's constantly bringing out those bombing runs to stop infantry, and that's going to dish out quite a bit of damage. And even though Fussel has his Focke-Wulfs out, he's having a hard time intercepting. You see, once again, the turning angle is extremely wide, and that Typhoon should be able to get a ray once again. Maybe get a ray, who knows? We've got a little bit of AA. Does get the kill finally on one of the planes. We've got Tripotions here to stop him from getting a bit too close into enemy territory. And in phase C, now we see the Tetrarch Little John, which is a fun unit. I mean, you have a light tank that can penetrate tigers. That's pretty awesome. But with Oak Fussel just clearing down below, holding up top, and still holding on to the town, he's going to be taking this victory. And really just that early napalm run completely screwed up Fussel. And maybe I have to take back what I said about 6 airborne. This match has definitely opened my eyes a little bit in how to play them effectively. There, I will admit, I have a big bias against British infantry. As I do not enjoy using British infantry a lot unless I'm playing 15th Scots. That's the only British deck I enjoy using the infantry with. But that's just oh, and Canadians. The Canadians are playable because they got decent fire support to help them out. But apart from those 2 decks, I do tend to stray away from the other ones. But nonetheless, who cares about my biases, because the Oak Fussel did take the victory rather close on the kills there. A very clean 300 point kill difference. And the snipers and Bren groups, not getting too much. No real crazy MVPs here for Mr. Local Festival. And the same thing for Fussel. Rather standard units, rather standard match. And that brings us up to 1-1. So I'll see you guys next match for round number 3. And we're back for round number 3. On the left, we've got Fussel going back to his roots as the 15th Scottish Infantry Division. And on the right hand side, playing as another airborne division, we got Local Festival as the 91st Loftlander this time. And we're on boys, the Lemurs, or the 101st Airborne Hell in the forest up top. So we got a pretty interesting matchup. 2 infantry spam decks coming up together. I don't really know who's going to be... I give it to the Scots for winning the forest, because Avra. In the open ground, Joe, if Local Festival does do the Earthstats Trooping spam effectively, he can just spam all the way through and use infantry, sport guns and AT guns to help him out. This is rather interesting how, compared to ESL, the ESL tournament was you had to stick with the same division throughout the entirety of the best of 3, where here it goes back and forth depending on who wins a map. And you're seeing quite a bit of a difference every time. I mean, the only division we've seen twice in this best of 3 is the 15th Scotch. It's always been something different, which there's pros and cons too. It's nice seeing different divisions throughout the entirety, switching up characters or whatnot. You know, 4 different moods. You know, I like seeing the same division go up against each other. Of course, it's much less flexible for the players, and I'd be kind of annoying if you get certain maps or that you do not enjoy. But because you know who you're also going to be fighting against all the time, and you can usually change your division up depending on the map. And with the ESL tournament, I noticed that both sides are really changing up their play styles and certain units that they'd bring and not bring depending on the map. And I just found those changes just interesting. I'm going to stop rambling and let's see what the hell was going on. So we got choo infantry train up top. That's a lot of infantry. I'm counting one Fauchager. We got some recon troops and a lot of Earthstats troop and no support guns or any machine gun. I think an MG34 would help out, but I don't think Local Festival thinks so. Got an AT gun, or probably it's a Pak-36. Gonna be covering the open ground territory here. Probably just stopping them from trying to flank through. And down below we got flamethrower troop to keep control of the forest. Fauchagers, some Earthstats trooping, and once again, Local Festivals. Well, he really does like using those panzershrecks. And the Fussel's going to be coming around the corner, which is very silly usually to come around, because it is rather risky. You've got the rifles unloading. And I think the Fauchager and Earthstats trooping are going to be able to beat them out. Avra decided to go down below instead of up top, which I can understand for now I think about it, because you could get panzershrecked up top. There's a lot of angles for you to get rocket launched. While down below it's a lot more consistent. And especially around his corner, because he just has to move around here. Pop! There goes all the infantry as they get trash binned into oblivion. We've got flamethrower troops, some Earthstats trooping. And up top here, just infantry spam all around. Really from both sides a lot of infantry, but that's where they both succeed. Where Local Festival has some really crap units, cheap, mixed in with very expensive power units, while Fussel just kind of has a nice blend of everything. Oh god, oh no, oh no, oh! Once again the panzershreck comes in hot. Oh god. That's a bad loss there from Fussel. Avra is really, once again, you know, the deciding factor unit, because I don't think the rifles are going to have a good time fighting against his force. If he was a bit more cautious, he could have moved it down below here, and then give fire support, because he still has the range. I just think it has a little bit of a misplay moving it directly down the road, especially with that ambush point. Yeah, the flamethrower troops getting hurt up quite a bit, but same with the rifles. Yes, that's trooping, barely holding on. That's not good. That's not a good start, yeah. And you got just a big infantry blob here. I'd try to spread these out a little bit, but at the same time, it's just 45 points worth of units. Or is it 45 points? Okay, it's 50 points. My bad. I mean, that's like what a Faujager and a little bit. And look, Fastful just making great progress in the town. I was really, I mean, even with submachine guns, the rifles are not going to be able to cut up against Faujagers because they have semi-automatic rifles and automatic rifles alone. But here we go, the Spitfire being brought in, doing some good old strafing runs. And knocking out his AT guns are going to be priority. We've got a Churchill Mark V, which will be taken once again at Avarice Place. But he needs to kill the Pak 40. That Pak 40 is the only proper AT gun that local festival can get during his A phase. Here he's going for the Pak 36, so I'm guessing, I guess he does not have line of sight on the Pak 40. Oh, now he does. And if he can actually bring it up to kill a Churchill Mark V, yeah, I doubt it. He is highly stressed out. Missing completely. And there's a strafing run on the Pak gun. And almost dead, only 1 HP. Yeah, because the middle of the map is very undefended. I mean, the Nurse-Truppen isn't exactly the best defense, but it's cheap as chips. Mr. Fussel is just gaining quite a bit of a ground advantage. That's going to force Mr. Luke Fastful to bring up Panzer 39. He's using the 39s instead of the, or the Hates, or F instead of, yeah, the Hates instead of the R model. Which is 5 points more. It is much faster. But it's not that much of an upgrade apart from that. The gun's a little bit more powerful. I think it's actually a little less powerful. I don't know. It's still a crap gun either way. But that's what happens when you use pre-war French tanks. And Fussel's just going to be making a nice amount of ground in the mid. And just a slow +1 point advantage. At the same time, local festival, as forest as is, just that troop and spam alone is enough. I mean, 8 Car 98s versus 7 Einfields. That's well, he shoots less because cars are slower on Einfields. But 10 points versus 20 points, you get the drift. You can just rip out more firepower, and as you can see, he's just bolting like crazy with his Car 98. Seems to get some ammunition for him sometime soon. And there we go, Churchill Mark V finally in a good spot. And this is where he needs to keep the Churchill. And the Mark V is going to have a lot of fun because Faujager's in the open, everything else is in the open. He's trying to move the panzershreck into range, but not going to do it, buddy. Gets intercepted by the rifles. And Fussel's just, holy crap, he is just gaining so much ground down below. So much bloody ground. And it's not even just a few units, he's got quite a few Bren guns, he's got a tank supporting him. I'm hoping he's bringing the honey straight into the middle, which is exactly what he needs to do. Up top, the push is still going on, but it's going to be much slower because it is infantry in the forest. You kind of have to clear every nook and cranny. On Flamethrower squad getting intercepted, yeah. Going to be retreating into the forest. We got a ZIS-3. I believe, yeah, this is definitely a ZIS-3. I mean, it does have the Russian tag. And that's going to be giving some light artillery support. Spitfire doing a strafe run on Faujagers, yeah. And local Vessel was trying to do his best to plug this up, but to really plug this up, he needs good infantry support units. He can get infantry support guns. I kind of doubt he has them in his deck at the moment, but even then, infantry support guns are rather slow to attack with. He's using a Panda 39, and well, at range, if he moves up to here, he can kill the Honey Steward. He has for sure, but Spitfire is straight for him, which isn't good. And the back gun is stressed out, falling back quite a bit, and the Honey Steward can just give good cover and fire. It does have 3 bloody machine guns compared to the Panther 39 single MG. And he's getting out very close. And that Spitfire's just constantly strafing. And this forest is pretty much under local festival's control. And local festival is still gaining that +1 point advantage. I'm guessing because he is starting to plug up his middle now. And just all that ground up top is... And once you capture the forest, it's pretty easy to defend. If you just spread out units correctly, you're just going to have infantry and ambush behind every tree. Honey Strewn flying the Flammenwerfer. There's some more rifles, which... For own B phase, maybe you get some Assault Pioneers. That'd be a good choice. There we go. Yeah, Assault Pioneers. They only have one grenade, but if you can use that grenade to knock out half a Feldjäger squad, you already paid yourself off. So just think about it like that. Got Mortar 2 down below. And still Fussel's making quite a bit of progress through the mid. Really, it's that Honey Strewn being the pain in the butt. And the Bren groups are slowly moving through because they can't outrange the Ursat's troop. And yeah, when it comes to the spam, the Bren groups actually win in long range advantage. Got some Feldjägers here, they're getting hit up by the MMG carrier. Still got a pocket of rifles behind enemy lines, and that's going to be closing rather shortly. And this counter-attack here from Fussel's making some ground. As he's slowly getting a +1 point advantage. Local festival in the lead by 350 points. And Mortar 2 in position. He's trying to knock out Churchill Mark 5. But Churchill could probably knock out the Mortar, because it is a very lightly armoured vehicle. As they are exchanging fire. Church going to be falling back. And all the panzershreck team, once again, just local festival has been on point with panzershreck teams this entire tournament. Because that was his main threat in the middle. Now if he can just, I mean, even just using a Mortar 2 for some fire support, he should be able to clog up his middle flank. We got our Churchill Mark 6. Actually, let's look at a Spitfire chase down the Messerschmitt 109. Is forced to retreat because of anti-aircraft. But Churchill Mark 6, interesting shank choice. If I was playing 15th Scotch, I would never, in the life of me, bring up a Churchill that's not a Mark 7 model. Because it's 10 frontal armor for a rather slow... I mean, it's not terrible. It's pretty much a slightly more expensive Sherman. Well, heck, it really is just a Sherman now I think about it. It's slow. But for the activation point, I'd much rather get 1 or 2 Command Churchills and some Crocs compared to some Mark 6s. But that's just me. That's just me. Mortar 2 find the Churchill Mark 5. And maybe able to get the kill because the Mark 5 is completely stunned up. But it is highly stressed out, so yeah, having trouble aiming. As they are shaken. And there we go, finally gets a kill at close range. And Lug Festival, really just holding his forest is his main advantage for winning this match. Feldjäger's getting completely stunned up down, up top. Finding some good fire support units. Finally, the pack gun getting to shoot some targets. They will have a bit of a hard time killing Sturridge, or even Command Sturridge. Feldjäger's getting pinned down here by the bombing run. Strafing run as well from the Spitfire. I do need to take a drink real fast. My throat is getting a bit coarse. You know, the rows are casting, yada yada. But Lug Festival just set up a nice defensive line down below. Even though he got pushed out of this Alsate forest, he has a very good defense within this little village here. He's got good cover of the forest up top, protecting him, and there's no real long range and distance engagement for these Churchills or Honey Strewn to really take advantage of, though. I could also be saying for the Mortar 2, but the Mortar 2 is dead. But for the infantry, they can just get in some good flanking positions, good ambush spots, to hold. And just the forest, we got a counter-attack here. Got some pioneers. And some Fallshakers now. And just rifles, and rifles are not going to be enough. And in the middle too, Stuart Rackies and all that can be completely surrounded. I'm thinking if Fussel wants to take middle again, which would probably be his best bet, he needs another tank like a Churchill to help him out. Both walls getting hit up by the ZIS-3 or Field Cannon 39 if we're calling this by a German name. There we go, mortar 2 in position to find Stuart Rackie. Does get the kill. And they are in C phase now. So really anything goes. Neither side really gets anything crazy in C phase. We got a Flak 88, which is definitely... I see something a bit crazy. That can knock out a majority of Churchills. All the Churchills actually. I'm just wondering where he's going to be putting it. And he's going to be putting it up top here. It's also going to help out with knocking out those Spitfires. And Fussel getting a bit of momentum with his rifles, but actually, yeah, knocking out the Fallshaker squadron rather easy peasy like. And the Pioneers too, jeez. Jeez. Look, Festival managed to break out the town a little bit, and if he can get his mortar 2 into his southern position, or up top here to cover the open ground, that's going to be great, as it does have long range advantage. Got Wolverine up top, which is definitely a proper tank he needs to try and secure this top hand area. And Spitfire's going in for strafing runs, but there we go, Flak 88, just one shot, bomber. The Spitfire bomber forced to evac. And now we got the Messerschmitt with a 9 on patrol. Will be able to kill the Spitfire? I believe he should. Nope. I got a second Spitfire and the 2-star veterancy. Flak 88 helping out quite a bit, as you can see. And Fussel doing another little poke through in the bottom middle hand section with just some command stretch. As really low fastball does not have much here. Even at top, the Pioneers getting stunned up by the Honey Stewart and Bren, or rifle group. And Luke Festival just has a +1 point advantage. He's trying to get slowly pushed back now. But with only 16 minutes left, I don't think Fussel can really take it back. And that's just because Local just managed to gain the forest early on and just keep hold of it. And just right, we gotta pause this. Just look at the map. That looks extremely funky. We got bulges all over. It's like interlocking teeth or something. Local Festival is now starting to get the air superiority advantage. Does have 2 Messerschmitts flying around, a flat gun helping out a bit. Spitfire's going to be dropping in some bombs. Try and knock out a flat gun, but it's kind of hard to knock out a flat gun. Mortar 2 in the open ground. And he's really pushing hard on Mortar 2, just gaining so much map control there. And even though Fussel's been making pretty good progress in the middle, local festivals are making double the progress, mainly up top, but now down below. And the Churchill Avro, I believe, they're getting killed. And really, local festival has this in the bag. And The flat gun now destroyed, and Fussel, he is making fantastic ground down below. Now he's got the challengers to knock out the mortars. I mean, if he had more time, I think he could win this. Or maybe. Or if you knock out the mortar, and he kind of knock out all of that. But he is keeping mortar back, using it as an ambush weapon. I guess he's trying to get his recon on point, trying to... Oh, there we go, he just bombed the mortar. That works. And in the middle... it's not working too great. Pioneers are holding their ground rather than machine guns. And really, Local Festival still has rather good control of his forests. He just has Pioneers all over the bloody place. I wouldn't be surprised if he just dumped a lot of Pioneers in his deck specifically for this map. And, oh, I accidentally hit the pause button there instead of fast forward. Knocking out Messerschmitt, yeah. And really, his match is going to come down to Local Festival holding that top hand side and just barely holding on to the middle and bottom. And he is going to be taking the victory for the tournament. Again, a 500 kill advantage, yeah, roughly. And Local Festival will be taking home, I believe, $30. Fussel will be taking home $15 United States. If we take a look at the kills real fast, Rifles actually getting quite a few kills. Not too bad in CQC maybe. Well, there was fighting SS Trooper now. And did have a lot of them in mass. But no real crazy MVPs from the 15 Scotch. Damn, knocking down Avra, some command units too. And no real crazy MVPs from Local Festival with his units. The mortar too, knocking down a Churchill Mark 6 and a Honey is pretty decent. B3 killing the Avra. But really, that just came down to Local Festival having the better infantry game up top. He has much better shooted close range infantry options compared to Fussel when it comes to that Northern Forest. And that map, well, not all the time it comes down to a Northern Forest, but it is a big portion of the map. And I hope you guys enjoyed its coverage of the finals for the July 15th tournament. I'm sorry it's a little bit late, and I'm going to leave it off. Yeah, it's been another Rangroo cast. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and usual, please just take it easy.